The aroma of fresh coffee and baked goods filled the air at Bean and Leaf Cafe, a popular spot in Austin, Texas. Kyra Johnson sat by the window, her laptop open to a sea of spreadsheets and emails. Her job as a program coordinator for a local non-profit left little time for breaks, but today she had stolen a few moments to grab a latte and catch up on work. The cafe was bustling, a mix of students, professionals and regulars chatting over their cups. Kyra was too absorbed in drafting a grant proposal to notice the growing whispers and stolen glances from the other patrons. It wasn't until someone walked past her table, a tall man in a simple black hoodie and jeans, that she realized the source of the commotion. Kyra's eyes narrowed as recognition dawned. Elon Musk, one of the wealthiest and most influential men in the world, was ordering a coffee at the counter. His casual demeanor and lack of an entourage made him seem almost ordinary, but his presence was anything but. The room buzzed with muted excitement as customers whispered to one another, some discreetly snapping photos with their phones. Kyra, however, felt a surge of frustration. She had spent her morning coordinating emergency food deliveries to struggling families, her inbox flooded with desperate messages from people unable to make ends meet. And here was Elon Musk, worth billions, casually ordering a cappuccino as though he were untouched by the world's problems. Before she could second-guess herself, Kyra stood up and approached him. "Excuse me, Mr. Musk," she said, her voice steady but edged with irritation. Elon turned to face her, his eyebrows lifting slightly. "Yes?" "I have to ask you something," Kyra began, crossing her arms. "How do you sleep at night, knowing there are millions of people going hungry while you're spending billions on rockets and luxury cars?" The cafe went silent. Heads turned as everyone froze, waiting to see how this confrontation would unfold. Elon blinked, seemingly caught off guard by her directness. But instead of brushing her off or becoming defensive, he nodded thoughtfully. "That's a fair question," he said. "Do you mind if we sit and talk about it?" Kyra hesitated, surprised by his calm response. "Sure," she said, gesturing toward her table. They sat across from each other, the tension in the room palpable. "First," Elon began, his tone measured, "let me say that I understand your frustration. There's a lot of inequality in the world, and it's a problem that weighs on me. But you don't seem to be doing much about it," Kyra shot back. "You have the resources to make a real difference, but it feels like you're more focused on space exploration than the people struggling right here on Earth." Elon leaned back in his chair, his fingers steepled. "I hear that criticism a lot," he said, "and I've tried to address it in various ways, through donations, initiatives like renewable energy projects, and providing internet access to underserved communities. But I'll admit, most of my focus has been on long-term solutions rather than immediate needs." Kyra frowned. "But what about now?" she pressed. "People don't have time to wait for long-term solutions. There are kids in this city who don't know where their next meal is coming from." Elon nodded slowly, his expression thoughtful. "You're absolutely right," he said. "The long term doesn't mean much if we're not addressing urgent problems. So let me ask you, what's the most effective way I can help right now?" Kyra blinked, caught off guard. She hadn't expected him to turn the question back on her. "Well, for starters, you could support local organizations that are already doing the work," she said. "There's a non-profit I work with called Bridgepoint Outreach. We provide food, housing assistance and job training for families in need. We're always stretched thin, and a single donation could make a huge difference." Elon nodded again. "How much do you think would help?" Kyra hesitated, unsure how to answer. "Even $10,000 could go a long way," she said. Elon pulled out his phone and began typing. "How about $1 million?" he said, looking up at her. Kyra's breath caught. "What?" "I'll donate $1 million to Bridgepoint Outreach right now," Elon said, his tone as casual as if he were ordering another coffee. "You've made a valid point, and I want to act on it." The cafe erupted in whispers as he tapped away on his phone, then turned the screen toward Kyra to show her the transaction confirmation. The words $1,000 donation alongside the non-profit's name made her eyes fill with tears. "Why?" she asked, her voice trembling. "Because you're right," Elon said simply, "and because I can." The room broke into quiet applause, the weight of the moment sinking in for everyone present. "Thank you," Kira said, her voice barely above a whisper. "You don't know what this will mean to so many families." "I have an idea," Elon said with a small smile, "but the real thanks goes to you and your team for doing the hard work." As he stood to leave, Elon turned back to Kira. "If you ever need more support, don't hesitate to reach out. Keep doing what you're doing, it matters." With that, he walked out, leaving the cafe buzzing with awe and disbelief. Kira sat back in her chair, her heart racing. What had started as a moment of frustration had turned into something extraordinary. She couldn't wait to tell Linda, the director of Bridgepoint Outreach, about the donation and the lives it would change. Little did Kira know, this encounter was just the beginning of a partnership that would transform her work, her community, and her perspective on what was possible. The following morning, Kira sat in the modest office at Bridgepoint Outreach, still reeling from the events of the previous day. The $1 million donation from Elon Musk felt almost too good to be true, yet the confirmation email with the subject line, "Gift to Bridgepoint Outreach," had arrived within hours. Kira's boss, Linda Avery, a sharp-eyed woman in her 50s who had dedicated her life to community service, paced the room as Kira recounted the encounter. "So you just walked up to Elon Musk and called him out in the middle of a coffee shop?" Linda asked, incredulous. Kira nodded, still clutching her coffee cup. "I didn't plan it. I was just frustrated. And then he listened, like really listened." Linda sank into her chair, her eyes wide. "And then he donated $1 million. Just like that?" Kira smiled faintly. "Pretty much." Linda exhaled sharply, running a hand through her hair. "Do you realize what this means? We can finally expand the food pantry, launch the housing assistance program, and even bring back the after-school tutoring sessions we had to cut last year." Kira nodded, the weight of the moment sinking in. "It's a game changer, Linda, but it's also a responsibility. We have to make sure every dollar makes an impact." Linda stood and placed a hand on Kira's shoulder. "We will, and it's all thanks to you. If you hadn't spoken up, none of this would have happened." Over the next few weeks, Bridgepoint Outreach underwent a transformation. With the influx of funds, they upgraded their facilities, expanded their services, and hired additional staff. The food pantry, once a cramped storage room with limited options, now boasted shelves stocked with fresh produce, dairy, and pantry staples. The housing assistance program, which had only existed on paper before the donation, was launched within weeks. The team secured leases on several apartments to provide temporary housing for families facing eviction, and they hired a full-time housing coordinator to help families transition into stable homes. Kira also spearheaded the revival of the after-school tutoring program. She recruited volunteers, partnered with local schools, and transformed an unused storage room into a welcoming space with desks, computers, and colourful posters on the walls. One evening, as Kira was locking up after a long day, she noticed a young boy sitting on the steps outside. He was clutching a book, his face scrunched in concentration as he tried to read. "Hey there," Kira said, crouching beside him. "What's your name?" "Marcus," the boy replied, looking up at her. "What are you reading?" she asked. Marcus held up the book, its cover worn and faded. "It's about planets. I want to be an astronaut someday." Kira smiled. "That's a big dream, but you know what? Big dreams are worth chasing." She invited him inside, where she helped him with his reading. As Marcus sounded out words and learned about the solar system, Kira felt a surge of purpose. This was why she had confronted Elon Musk. This was why the work mattered. A month later, as Kira worked late in her office, her phone buzzed with an email notification. The subject line read, "Follow-up from Elon Musk." She opened it quickly. Hi, Kira. I've been following the updates from Bridgepoint Outreach, and I'm impressed with what you've accomplished. Would it be possible to visit the centre and see the impact firsthand? Best, Elon. Kira stared at the screen, her heart racing. She immediately forwarded the email to Linda, who called her within seconds. He wants to visit, Linda asked, her voice tinged with both excitement and panic. That's what the email says, Kira replied, pacing her office. We need to prepare, Linda said. He's not just any donor, he's Elon Musk. This is huge. A week later, the day of Elon's visit arrived. The centre buzzed with nervous energy as staff and volunteers tidied every corner, arranged fresh flowers in the lobby, and double-checked the day's schedule. Elon arrived in a sleek Tesla, stepping out in his signature casual attire, jeans, sneakers, and a fitted black blazer. Despite his unassuming demeanour, his presence commanded attention. "Mr. Musk, welcome," Linda said, extending her hand. "Please, call me Elon," he replied, shaking her hand warmly. Kira approached, her nerves threatening to bubble over. "Hi, Elon," she said, offering a smile. "Kira," Elon said, his expression softening. "It's good to see you again. Thanks for arranging this." They began the tour, starting with the food pantry. Elon listened intently as Kyra explained how the donation had allowed them to expand their inventory and provide fresh, nutritious options for families. At the Housing Assistance Office, a young mother named Tanya shared her story. "Without this program, my kids and I would have been on the streets," she said, her voice trembling. "This place gave us a second chance." Elon nodded, his expression thoughtful. "I'm glad to hear that," he said. The final stop was the tutoring program, where Marcus proudly showed off a model of the solar system he had built. "Mr. Musk, do you think people like me can really go to space someday?" Marcus asked, his eyes wide with hope. "Absolutely," Elon said, crouching to meet the boy's eye level. "But it starts with learning as much as you can. Keep working hard, and one day you might be the one building rockets or flying them." As the tour concluded, Elon turned to Kira and Linda. "What you've built here is remarkable," he said. "It's proof that small actions can have a big impact." "Thank you," Linda said, "but none of this would have been possible without your support." Elon smiled. "I'd like to do more," he said. "If there's anything you need, new programs, expansions, whatever, reach out. I'm serious." Kira felt a lump in her throat as she nodded. "We will," she said softly. That evening, after Elon left, Kira stood in the quiet centre, reflecting on how far they had come. The coffee shop confrontation had been born out of frustration, but it had sparked a chain reaction of kindness, generosity, and transformation. Kira thought of Marcus, of Tanya, and of the countless families whose lives had been changed. She knew there was still so much work to be done, but for the first time she felt like they had the momentum to keep pushing forward, and it all started with the courage to speak up. The days following Elon Musk's visit to Bridgepoint Outreach were a whirlwind of activity. News of his donation and subsequent visit began to spread, bringing unprecedented attention to the organization. Articles appeared in local papers and online, praising both Elon's generosity and the centre's tireless efforts to uplift the community. For Kira Johnson, the sudden spotlight was exhilarating but also daunting. Donations began pouring in from individuals inspired by the story, but so did new challenges. With more funds came more opportunities and more decisions about how to use them wisely. One morning, as Kira sifted through emails in her office, Linda walked in holding a copy of the Austin Chronicle. The front page featured a photo of Elon Musk crouching next to Marcus in the tutoring room, with the headline, "From Billionaire to Benefactor, Elon Musk's Impact on Local Community Centre." "You've officially gone viral," Linda said, tossing the paper onto Kira's desk. Kira laughed nervously. "It's not just me, it's the whole team." "But you started it," Linda said, her tone softening. "You had the courage to confront him, and now look what's happened. People are paying attention in ways they never did before." Kira sighed, running a hand through her braids. "I just hope we can keep up," she said. "The needs are growing, and I'm not sure we're ready for this level of expansion." That's why we need to think big, Linda said. We've been in survival mode for so long. Now, we have the chance to dream about what's next. Over the next few weeks, Kira worked with Linda and the board of directors to create a 5-year strategic plan. Their goals included expanding the housing program, adding mental health services, and creating a career development initiative for young adults. The career initiative, inspired by Marcus and other kids in the tutoring program, became Kyra's passion project. She envisioned a program that would offer internships, mentorships, and hands-on training in fields like technology, healthcare, and renewable energy. Kyra reached out to local businesses, colleges, and non-profits, building partnerships and gathering resources. She also contacted Elon Musk's team, sharing her plans and asking for advice on scaling the initiative. One evening, as Kyra was leaving the center, her phone buzzed with an email notification. Subject: Additional support for career initiative. Hi Kira, I've reviewed your proposal and I think it's an excellent idea. I'd like to provide additional funding to help launch the career initiative. $1.5 million should cover the initial costs. Let me know if there's anything else you need. Best, Elon. Kira leaned against her car, rereading the email, her heart pounding. She immediately called Linda. He's giving us another $1.5 million, Kira said, her voice trembling. Linda gasped. Are you serious? That's incredible. This means we can actually do it, Kira said. We can hire staff, create internships, and give these kids real opportunities. Linda laughed, her joy evident. You're building something amazing, Kyra. I hope you know that. The career initiative launched 6 months later with a community-wide event at the center. Local leaders, educators and business owners attended, along with dozens of families eager to learn about the program. The highlight of the event was a live video call from Elon Musk. The crowd erupted into applause as his face appeared on the big screen. Hello everyone, Elon said, smiling. I wish I could be there in person, but I'm thrilled to see the career initiative come to life. This program is about more than just training. It's about unlocking potential and creating opportunities for the next generation of innovators and leaders. I can't wait to see what you accomplish. The audience cheered, and Kira felt a lump in her throat as she stepped onto the stage to address the crowd. When I confronted Elon Musk in a coffee shop, I never imagined it would lead to this, she began. But that moment taught me something important. Change starts with speaking up. And when people listen, really listen, anything is possible. This initiative isn't just about jobs or skills, it's about hope. It's about showing our young people that their dreams are valid and their futures are limitless. The program's success exceeded all expectations. Within its first year, dozens of participants secured internships, scholarships and job placements. Marcus, the boy who dreamed of becoming an astronaut, joined a robotics team and won a statewide competition. For Kira, watching these transformations was the ultimate reward. One afternoon, as Kira walked through the bustling center, she received a call from an unfamiliar number. Hello? Hi, Kira, Elon's familiar voice said. I just wanted to check in and see how everything's going. Kira smiled, her heart lifting. It's going better than I ever imagined, she said. The career initiative is thriving, and the community has rallied around us in ways I never thought possible. That's great to hear, Elon said. I'm proud of what you've built, and if you ever need more support, don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you, Elon, Kira said, her voice filled with gratitude, for everything. You're the one doing the real work, he replied. Keep it up. As Kira hung up, she paused to take in the sights and sounds around her, the laughter of children in the tutoring room, the chatter of families in the food pantry, and the determined focus of young adults in the career lab. It all began with a moment of frustration in a coffee shop, but that moment had grown into something extraordinary, a movement fueled by compassion, courage, and the belief that change was possible. Kira knew there was still more to do, but she also knew one thing for certain: they were on the right path, and together they could